Welcome to the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, your guide to motorsports sponsorship. Here's your host, Josh Weesey.
All right, I think that's enough of that. Welcome, everybody. This is the 18th installment of the Sponsored Rider Club podcast live experience, which is powered by AMSOIL. And we've got a couple of guests coming on today. And it looks like we already got Carla joining, too. So Carla and Casey Sims are coming on here. The last time you saw these two on the show, well, one, you only heard them because they were on the audio version. It was back on episode 60. And I think I'm about to release 118 tomorrow. I probably should know these numbers off the top of my head, but I can't really keep track of them very well. But this is the 18th live show. We do 2 a month, and excited to bring them on. So thanks for joining right away, Carla. That was probably one of the fastest join times I've ever seen of a guest for the show. But as a few more people are coming in, what I would encourage you to do is, if you're watching, tag some people, share this thing out. You know, make sure that we can get as much viewers as possible. This stuff adds value. So share. Leave your comments. Get your phone out and go like, boop, 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 boop. Type those comments in there. What's up, Kevin? How's it going? Lisa, welcome. A few things I want to cover with you before we actually bring Carla and Casey on. Oh, and Rohan, what's up? Australia in the house. All right. Behind me here, I've got a couple of screens pulled up. All right, if you're listening to the audio-only version of this when I release it later, go to the website so you can see this. So first off, I'm going to talk about GSP XTV.com. Chris, welcome. They just came out with a new axle called the Revolution axle. It is just super cool looking. Hopefully you can kind of see it from the phone here, but really good stuff. Bold Racing is one of the distributors for that. So Jimmy Moore, if you get a hold of Jimmy, he can hook you up with these axles. But they're actually a hollow tube. So I'm going to scroll down on the website a little bit. Hollow tube axle. So if you can see this a little bit, this section of the axle is like the inside is hollow. So it allows for flexing and twisting. They're basically calling it a fuse for your drivetrain. Really cool stuff. Check it out. I'll mess it up if I get in all the like technical details, but check out the website. You can also find it on boldracingltd.com. All right. The last one, oh, hello, Samantha is watching. Hello. Travis, what's up? Next, we want to talk about AMSOIL and specifically their Runs on Freedom campaign. Check it out. It's all about giving you the authority, the decision, the power to choose what oil you're going to run in your machine. Don't worry about the whole warranty deal. Check that out. Runs on Freedom campaign. All right, so we're going to kind of get into this thing today. Again, as people are joining, Ben, welcome. Leave your comments, leave your questions. We are going to get Carla and Casey on in just like a minute. But yeah, leave the questions in there. And after we go through a few things in our topic, oh wow, I'm still wearing the cowboy hat. What's up with that? All right, there we go. That's probably better. After we get through a few of the things and the general topics we're going to cover, we'll get into questions after that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them on. All right. Stressful part is actually bringing the guest on, making sure that all works. Yeah, Ben, yeehaw, right on, man. I wanted nobody to tell me I was wearing a cowboy hat for that long. Hey.
Hi, Josh.
How's it going, Josh?
How are you?
Great, you?
We're good. We're wearing our Sponsored Rider Club shirts.
I like it. All right, I have one thing for you. Hear the echo?
Yes.
So can you give us a fair?
You want us to put headphones on?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
You have earbuds, and we can each put one in.
Yeah.
He's going to get his earbuds.
I learned this last week.
On your interview with Evan from Polaris, right? Yeah, he put headphones in.
Like that. How about now?
Mm-hmm. Better.
Better?
Yeah, much better. Do we need to put these in?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, goodness.
I'm still getting the echo.
All
right, I'm going to try one. I'm going to drop
you off.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we're going to work on the echo thing here in a minute. This is what I'm learning it this time. I don't know if Facebook changed something, but I never had. Something happened recently. I don't know if it's the iPhone X or if Facebook changed the way they do this stuff, but sometimes we get this little echo. So the idea would be that they can plug in their headphone jack, and then it should remove the echo, but we're going to add them back on and see if that worked. If not, I'll just have to, mouth everything to them. Maybe write things down. All right, what do I know?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, and it's not echoing.
Very good.
This is a new thing. Do you have an iPhone X by chance?
No, I have an iPhone 8.
Oh. So maybe Facebook did change something.
They may have.
Well, either way, you are here. You can hear me. I don't hear myself twice. So we're in good shape. Well,
very good.
Welcome. I'm super excited. You know how long it's been since we last had you on the show? It's been a long time.
It has been a while.
Long time.
I've released 58 episodes since then, I think, if I can do my math right, which I can't usually, but that's amazing. That's amazing. And since then, Casey, you've gotten like 10 more machines. I think you're about a foot taller, so there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on here. So what I want to do to kind of start things off is I want you both to kind of bring us up to speed. What are some of the changes that have happened, in the last 60 some odd episodes?
You want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. So we've actually brought a new machine into our pack, and we got a new RS1, but the story behind it was my dad made a bet with me in January that if I got straight A's by the end of the year, I would get an RS1. And so what happened was I ended up in June, I ended up with straight A's, and he told me I get an RS1. So my parents, without actually me knowing, they were working with one of my newer sponsors, Moto United, in St. George, Utah, and they surprised me with a new RS1, so that was really cool.
And I don't know if everybody's seen this, so I encourage you to go back. I think you have the video posted on your Facebook page, but
yeah,
you're walking out to this like abandoned, I don't know where it came from, but for some reason you have this big shipping cart, the ones that you put on shipping container, the ones that you put on a train, right? And you're like, and you're all looking like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen when I open up this door. As soon as you open it, there's a brand new RS1 in there. So that was pretty cool the way you shared that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a few shipping containers. That's at my husband's yard where he keeps his equipment and things like that for their business. They have a family grading business, so they've got quite a few. And we actually keep our our General out there because we don't have any more room in the garage. And so we were getting loaded to go to the desert, and my husband came up with that. He said, let's have Casey, we'll tell him go get the General, and we'll put the RS1 in there. So it worked out really good.
You were expecting to be a General in there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing interesting with the shipping containers that there's a place out by me. It's called Roush Off-Road. It's like a 90 or 100 acre off-road park, and they take those things. They'll put dirt around them. You drive over top of them, and then you drive it underneath them. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well, what else? I mean, you've been doing a lot of racing. You just said you picked up another sponsor. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that have happened. So what other things have been going on in your racing world?
This past year, I've actually won 2 more championships. Now I have actually 14.
Come on, man. This is ridiculous. I was expecting at least 3, but whatever. 2's fine. 2's fine.
Well, he's on track to win 2 more this year. Our season's not done. He's got a couple more races in December. Yeah, he's on track to win 2 more. So
that's awesome.
So 14 total right now.
Yeah.
4 years of racing, 14 total, hopefully
Yeah.
16 by the end of the year.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good. Sorry, continue.
So the 2 championships I won was the Work Series and the Dirt Series.
Okay.
And the way I won the Work Series this past year, the last race, I had to at least finish the race to win the championship. And about halfway through the race, I was leading, and my throttle cable got stuck wide open.
I read about that.
So, yeah, so I had to actually, going into the corners, I had to save my motor and save everything. I actually had to shut off my car and then turn it back on coming out of the corners just to save the car and to save my brakes and my clutch and everything.
Yeah, and so actually, I won't spoil it. Tell us how that race finished, though.
I actually ended up with the 2nd place, so that's good.
That's so cool. I remember my experience with the throttle sticking. I was on a 4-wheeler, and it didn't end quite as well as yours did. The 4-wheeler just kind of like did one of these and popped up on the back end. I fell off, and it just drove off. But it did stop when it hit the fence. It eventually stopped. That was a long time ago. But yeah, I definitely didn't pull off a 2nd place finish to win a championship, you know.
Yeah, we have video of him coming across the finish line, and it's like, watch out, everybody, because he could not stop. He was flying through the finish. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm just going to acknowledge a couple of people joining. So we got Sean Spencer on, Mark Shea, Katie. What's up, Katie?
Hi, guys.
Katie Flanagan, Katie Held, Randy Nix.
Awesome.
Lots of comments, lots of love coming your way. All right, well, is there anything else, actually, before I get into the next segment, is there anything else that you kind of want to get us up to date on?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Those are the biggies for us right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And you said you had one new sponsor. So give them another quick shout out.
Moto United from St. George, Utah.
Nice. Good deal. And then I don't know if you want to do a shout out for your other sponsors. I didn't prep you for that one, but just if you can go through your list. Ooh, that's
Method Race Wheels. They provide my wheels. They're great wheels. We've had them since I started in my 800. GBC tires. They're great tires. I've had them ever since I was in my very first 170. Demon axles. I've had them since my 800. Who else?
Elka suspension. I've had them since my second 170. They're great shocks. Crow Enterprises.
They help me with my suits, gloves, all my safety gear. They help me. Crown Performance does all my brake lines and helps us with all that.
How'd they feel after you ripped through all your brakes?
That won't be a problem for them. That'll be a problem for Casey's dad, our crew chief around here, and our mechanic.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good. I was going to shout out to GBC because they shared the show on their page, which I think is pretty cool. So it's nice having some extra support like that. So
yeah. Yeah, they're fantastic. And then Godsend Performance, Addict Racing Engines. They've been huge supports to Casey as well.
Awesome stuff. Well, one of the things I want to talk about next is the whole adaptation that you go through as a youth racer. You're not that youth anymore, right? I mean, you're getting bigger, you're getting smarter, you're getting faster, and with all that comes changes. Sometimes you have to tweak your sponsorship program. You obviously been tweaking which machines you're running. And actually, speaking of that, I think you're selling your 800. Is that right?
Yeah, we are selling my 800.
Perfect. So my favorite thing about you selling that is your ad that it said never race. Like, oh,
yep.
That's so true. That's so true. Never been off road, right? That's how you sell things.
Never.
But for people who are watching, some people have kids that they want to bring into the sport, or they may be kids themselves that they want to kind of know what are the things to watch out for. And I think the biggest challenge with youth racing is it's always changing. It's always evolving. You know, if you get your car set up, well, then you gain 10 pounds the next year and you gain 3 inches of height, and it doesn't look the same anymore. Or maybe your sponsors are changing a little bit because they're reaching a new target market. I don't know. So what are some of the things that maybe you've learned over the past couple of years that you want to kind of share with the audience?
I think the biggest thing is just with Casey's progression and his growth. So, he started in the 170s, and then at the end of his second season in the 170s, we felt he was ready to make the next step. He had absolutely outgrown his car. He barely fit in it his last race. His helmet had scuff marks from hitting the roll bar because he had gotten so tall. So, making that jump into the 800 and then the progression from there. He raced a full season in that 800. We raced a couple regional series. We raced the work series. And then this last year, or at the end of last year, we bought him the 1000 car. But we didn't transition him completely out of that car this year. He raced the 800 at the work series because we felt like he was still extremely competitive. He still fit in the car. And we felt like giving him an opportunity to get his feet wet and learning how to drive a bigger car in a smaller regional series, in a couple smaller regional series actually, was what was going to be best for him in his transition. So we did that, and he's done quite well in the 1000. And so now we feel it's time to let go of the 800 and move him completely up into the 1000s.
Yeah. So Casey, for you, how is it switching between cars, like going from between an 800 and 1000 back and forth like that? I mean, I assume that's pretty challenging.
Yeah, it's pretty hard getting used to that 1000. It's a lot more power compared to the 800, and the suspension is a lot different. Where in the 800 I could only jump so far and do so much, and now in the 1000 I can jump further and do more and go faster. And I remember at one works race I had to jump out of my 800 and get right into my 1000, and I remember taking off on the line and going, whoa, this is a way different car. I got to get used to this, and it's different.
No, that's good stuff. What about from the business side? I mean, have you had to like change the way that you do things with sponsors as the years have progressed?
Absolutely. It really does become a business. The more you grow and the more you race, it really truly does become a business. And just keeping the sponsors updated. I said it back when you interviewed us last time that race reports are a huge thing, and I don't think enough people realize how important they are. We get great feedback from our sponsors about the consistent updates through the race report, and then providing them pictures from each race, good high quality pictures from each race that they can then take and use. Those are biggies. And then just how his resume has evolved and how we work with our sponsors definitely has evolved.
No, that's cool. One thing that I just thought of, I interviewed Jimmy Moore Jr., who's part of Bold Racing, at the biggest arena race. And one of the things that he did this year, so he just graduated high school. I think he just turned 18. And he started taking like a part ownership in the business, right? And that, his dad basically said, okay, well, like this sponsor decision is up to you. Or, what things we're going to upgrade on the car, that's up to you now. But hey, you only get this much money to spend. And he was telling me about how it's been a huge transition for him to learn more and more about the ins and outs of the business. Because at a certain point, especially when you had a 170, you probably didn't make hardly any decisions, right, Casey? You're learning, you're like, oh, well, what do you think about this? And so how's that transition been?
That's been a transition as well. We really do treat it like a business. We sit in the evenings. We have, it's dinner, but we really have meetings about what we're doing and where we're going and what direction we're going to go next year. And Casey is an integral part of all of that. And what series he wants to race. Like we just recently had the big conversation because it was time to put resumes out for next year. So what are our plans for next year? And we really leave a lot of that up to Casey. Where does he want to race? Where does he want to show up? What classes does he want to race? Can we make it happen? And so we really make him an integral part of that. But it's really the three of us that sit down and talk about what's going on. If we need new parts, where are we going to get them? How are we going to get them? And Casey he's definitely an integral part in all of that now.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, just the business sense that you're developing, Casey, you might not even know it, but definitely don't take it for granted, right? There's people out there that they don't get that experience, right? And I'm glad that you got it, that you're willing to come on shows like this and share some of those things. I think it's helpful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to quick acknowledge some of the other folks. It looks like we had Matt Housen jump on, Sarah Danbury,
I know we have all kinds of people. Hi, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Hello.
Yep, Jamie's on, George is on. What I'll remind people to do, if you're listening right now and you've got a special question, whether it's for me or for Carla or Casey, go ahead and type it in the comments and we'll hit it. Let's see who else jumped on. Craig Schwartz. So it looks like you got another fan there.
Hi,
Craig. Brian Willison was commenting on your Razor post. Adult owned, never raced. Yep.
Yes. Very good. Sell that 800.
That's it. Well, so Casey, for you, I mean, what do you think's been the biggest thing that you've learned maybe in the past year, 2 years about the business side of racing? What's been the number one challenge that you feel like you understand better now than you used to?
Probably sponsorships and how the whole thing works, that it's not just you call somebody and say, hey, can we put your sticker on the car and you give us stuff. That's not really how it works. You got to send in resumes and almost get their liking of you and want them to have you as one of their teammates almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wish that, honestly, that challenge is what keeps this show running right now. It's the sponsorship world, especially if you're not doing it now, if you're just learning it, it can be it seems obvious at first how things work, and then you get into it and you're like, there's so much I don't know. Like, the more I study this, the less I know. It seems crazy. The more time I spend talking about this, I'm like, how does it ever work? How does anybody ever get this to work? I don't know. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, I'm glad that that's kind of one of your takeaways. It blows my mind. But either way, with some of the sponsors that you brought on recently, have you had the opportunity, Casey, to do a little bit of the pitch? Have you been able to talk to them and try to sell yourself?
A little bit, I would say.
With the new one, that was a complete surprise to Casey. We worked with Moto United. Yeah, we worked with Moto United. My husband and I did, and they came on board. Jim from Addict Racing Engines actually facilitated all that because he's up in Utah, and he facilitated all that with them and made the initial introduction of Casey. And then my husband and I worked with them to get that RS1. Yeah. Casey, though, he is very face-to-face with a lot of his sponsors. He doesn't even probably realize it because there are so many races and events. GBC Tires and Method Race Wheels, we're constantly in contact with them, and Casey is constantly talking to them. Yeah. And then, of course, at the Sand Sports Super Show and things like that, we make sure to show up and be a part of all of that and go see everybody that supports him. So I think he probably does that even more than he realizes. He does it without even realizing he's doing it.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, especially if you grow up, just that's how your life is run. That's how things go. You probably don't even know what you're doing half the time. It just happens naturally, which is good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why we see success with racing families, right? Different generations of racing families. One is they learn how to race. They learn how to, operate the machines and work on the machines. But two, they build connections. They build networks. They know how to talk the business, which is pretty cool. Well, hey, Craig Schwartz threw a question out there. Compare the first.
Oh, what does Craig want to know?
Yeah, compare the first year of racing to what it's like now. That's a tough one.
You want me to start?
You can start if you want.
Okay. It's completely different. It's night and day from where we started. So we started out, we had no idea what we were doing. We built Casey a car. We went to the regional, the dirt series, which Casey still races. It's a great small series that's excellent for so many things. And we just started racing and again, had no idea about sponsorships and everything that keeping a car together entails. Keeping a 170 together, though, is a lot easier and a lot less expensive than keeping a 1000 together. And we learned that as we grew out of Casey's 170 into the 800. And then, he's sponsored by Gates Belts now, which is, we're so appreciative. But a belt for a 170 you can find for about $15, and a belt for an 800 is $100. So you take that expense alone, and then from the 800 up to the 1000, it's been exponential in the expense to keep that car together. So I'd say that's a huge shift from where we were till now. And then also just the relationships that we built along the way, the things we've learned about sponsorship. I had no idea Casey needed a race resume when he first started racing. And now I think he's got a really solid, excellent resume built. And that, we're proud to send out to potential sponsors and current sponsors to keep our partnerships with them. And I'm really proud of us as a team and our unit and how far we've come from our first year until now. Racing has really taught us how to be a team, how to work together. And it's really the three of us that keep this machine together. We each play a part in it. And our parts sometimes overlap, but we really have defined roles in this team and how we run it.
No, that's awesome. I've gotten to spend 2 races now with Bold Racing out at Vegas Cerrito, and there is so much to that, like functioning as a team, even simple things, simple car prep things. If you're not on the same page, it can cause delays, and then if there's a delay, there's a frustration, and if there's a frustration, you lack communication, and it starts falling apart from there. So, it's really cool dynamic. To see actually, like, I'm so grateful I get to be a part of that sometimes. But it's a cool dynamic to see, especially when it works right.
Yeah. We like it when it works right too.
Well, it looks like it's been working right quite a bit. With so. Okay, so Chris Mankin just put a question up here. What are some reasonable expectations for gaining sponsors this early in a career? So he's referring to someone named Chase, who's only in their second year of racing. Okay, you know Chase.
We know Chase. Yeah, we know them. They're awesome people.
So what are reasonable expectations for gaining sponsors that early, second year of racing?
I think I'm not really sure what she means by reasonable expectations, but I'll do my best to answer the question. So I think when you're first starting out, I think that having results is a huge part of that, and building your resume. Now, results are part of it, but the kind of person that you are and the kind of team that you are is also a big part of it. So on Casey's resume, there's a whole section that's just about him, about school, about what he likes to do, about his achievements at school, about what he's involved in school. And then from there, there's a career highlight section where we highlight things like his championships, his podium finishes, versus how many races he's done. And then from there, we have, race results for the current year, and then plans after that for the up and coming year. So it's not just about your results. It's really, I believe this firmly, the more we go through it. Sponsors really, they care about results, but they also care about who you are and what you're doing out in the community and the type of person that you are. And so for a young racer coming up, I would build a resume based on not only their results, but definitely include what they're doing at school, what they're doing out in the community. Do you belong to a church group? Do you belong, just anything and everything that you're doing? Those all speak to who you are as a person. And that's important to sponsors as well. It's extremely important. I always include current letters of reference from teachers, principals, because those things are super important when companies are looking to support you and who's going to be out in the world representing them. So I think it's never too early to start trying to obtain sponsorship. I think that you start small. Definitely, if anybody wants to help us, we do not care how small, we will never turn them down. You start small with somebody, you don't expect the world, you deliver for them, and they will come back and deliver for you. It's truly a partnership.
Yeah, if I could add in a little bit, what I'd say is your initial expectations, try not to have any, really. And the reason why I say that is it's almost like dress for the job you want, not for the job you have, kind of an idea.
Exactly.
If you approach a sponsor with, at least initially too, right, with expectations, just you want to help them, not worried about what it's going to do for you. You want to help them.
Correct.
It can build from that point, and that's feedback we've definitely gotten on this show before.
Yes.
So that would be one of my first initial things is don't even worry about that, because honestly, one of the things that we're going to struggle with, we're struggling with it now, and we're going to continue to struggle with it, is entitlement. So what entitlement does in the sponsorship world is it devalues some of the sponsor money that's out there, because people will feel entitled, like they are due something. They don't put the work into it, and it makes the rest of the programs not look like they're adding as much value overall. So that's, I think, probably the initial thing is if you're coming in with too high of expectations, you're going to get that perception of entitlement, and it's not going to be good long term.
Yes, and things like, if I could add just one more thing to that, Josh, things like you build a car, you run a set of tires. If that company doesn't come back and say, we're going to help support you, that's all right. We're going to run your tires anyway because we like them. And we're still going to put you in our list of people to thank. And we're still going to promote you because we like your product. Yeah. We've done that a lot of times. Sponsors have come back and said no, and we've said, you know what, thank you so much. We're still going to continue to run your product because you make a good product.
Right. No, that's good stuff.
To be patient, I think, is a key part of it. You got to be really patient and not just jump and go, oh, we need this, this, and this. You got to be like, start off small.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Mark Shea just asked a question. And he said, are you racing against the people you looked up to when you were in the smaller cars? And how do you feel about that?
A couple of the people I think I kind of looked up to that I'm racing against now, if I kind of have to think about that one. Yeah. But, I think a couple of them I am. So, yeah.
That's got to be tough, too, with doing multiple series, to even know who you're racing against at the time.
Yeah.
Good.
And as he continues to grow, he'll race more and more against the people that he's looked up to.
Yep. That's a very good point. Oh man, that's gonna get interesting in a couple more years, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see it. And I think actually we're gonna, unless somebody has any more questions, feel free to type them in, and maybe we'll go back through and we can answer some of those. But I'm gonna start closing things out now. First off, Carla and Casey, I want to thank you for quickly resolving the sound issue. That was lightning fast. Luckily you had some earbuds just laying around somewhere close by. And I thank you for sharing all this great feedback. I mean, that was very good, especially right there at the end when we talked about, what are the real expectations, reasonable expectations. I thought that hit on some really key points, so I appreciate all that. Do you have any last things that you kind of want to close out with?
I see a question here from Randy Nix. He wants to know what car you're racing and what car are you picking for works next year and why. I think we're going to keep it top secret for now, Randy Nix.
Friend.
Yeah, asking
Yeah.
for a friend. I think we're gonna keep it top secret for now. We're
Yeah.
figuring that out still, which cars we're racing where next season.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. I like the little stringing them out. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you'll find out later. Well, good stuff. And hey, again, everybody, thank you very much for all your time listening. Keep the comments flowing afterwards. If you're listening to replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay in there so we know that. And I'll leave you with this. Have fun and ride safe.